championship belts are on the line. Exclusively on pay-per-view and available for purchase now through ESPN+. First up, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who's riding a 5-fight win streak into this championship opportunity. Representing New York, here is Aljamain Funkmaster Sterling. His opponent, the reigning UFC bantamweight champion, a Russian force who's run through each of his last 10 opponents to wrap UFC gold around his waist. Introducing Piotr No Mercy Yan. In the co-headliner, this dangerous Australian challenger has finished each of her last 9 wins. Presenting the former Invicta FC featherweight champion, Megan Anderson. She faces the undeniable greatest female mixed martial artist of all time. Winner of 11 fights in a row, she is the reigning UFC bantamweight and featherweight champion of the world, Amanda the Lioness Nunes. And finally, is champion versus champion in the main event. Introducing first, an undefeated megastar looking to join the greatest in the sport as a 2-division belt holder. Here is the UFC middleweight champion of the world, the last stylebender, Israel Adesanya. His opponent, a Polish powerhouse that bulldozed through his last 4 opponents en route to UFC gold. Please welcome the current UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Jan Blachowicz.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming today. We appreciate it. Due to COVID protocols, Edwards and Muhammad aren't here today. Nothing that's going to stop the fight or anything. They both had COVID already, but you know how that goes. Who's got the first question?
Israel, if we could start with you, please. I mean, from the time you came into the UFC, you've been promising greatness, right? And you've delivered on it over and over. But, man, this is a big step up. You know, the legendary Polish power, the size. I mean, at any part along the way of prepping here, did you sit back and say, oh my God, what have we done here? Have we bitten off more than we can chew in this one?
Never. Yeah, I got a big mouth, so I can eat a lot. For me, this is exactly, like you said, what I've always predicted to do in this game is change the game, change history. And I came in here just over 3 years ago, and look what I've done so far. And I got a long way to go.
And that interests me too, right? Because you've said that, hey, after this, if you win, you still want to go back and defend that middleweight title. But it's clear you have John Jones's attention. You know, you've teased moves to heavyweight as well. I mean, there's all these huge opportunities. So at that point, would another middleweight title defense even interest you? Or does it become about chasing, you know, the biggest opportunities available?
Depends. But yeah, middleweight's my division. So I ruled that with the iron black fist. So yeah, I'm going to go back down and handle business there depending on the lay of the land. But also I look ahead and see. I peek ahead. I don't look too far ahead because I've got this Viking in front of me. So yeah, I'm looking straight at him. But yeah, I peek ahead and just see what the lay of the land is and how I can change history again.
And you talk about history. I mean, I've heard a lot of people say that you have the ability to transcend the sport, like Conor McGregor, you know, just become this massive global superstar, maybe even bigger than MMA. I mean, do you welcome that? Do you see that for yourself? Is that something that you want, a legacy like that?
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. But I just have to get used to it. You know, I just have to accept it and not hide from the role that I'm in, not hide from the platform that I'm on. Because a lot of people get to the spot and then they start to like, you know, I've been here now. I'm like, shit. I mean, what did Kanye West say? Y'all can have it back sometimes. But I just accept it now, and it is what it is. I am who I am, so I just run with it.
Thanks, Israel. I appreciate it. Jan, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you've been chasing this belt for a long time. Now you're up here defending it. Is the feel, is the emotion, is the energy any different now that you're finally the champion and they're having to come at you?
You know, I'm just happy that I can, you know, defend my belt against someone like Israel. So that's it. I'm happy, excited. I cannot wait, to step inside the octagon and start, fighting against him.
Obviously, he's a fantastic striker, but he's moving up quite a bit, and he's going to be a lot smaller than you. Do you see him as a knockout threat? I mean, are you concerned that he could KO you, or do you feel like maybe the size is more of a factor than he's acknowledging?
I try to knock him out and, defend myself the best I can. I try to use my, all power, my weight to wrestle, to take him down or, just knock him out. We'll see, But, he is really good striker, so I have to be, watch for everything because also he can knock me out.
Yeah. And everybody seems to be focused on what happens with Israel if he wins, But what happens with you if you win? I mean, you could certainly win this fight, so are you thinking, hey, I want to get Jon Jones' attention, or I want to, think about moving up to heavyweight, or is it just, defend the next light heavyweight?
Yeah, I don't think right now about heavyweight. I think about 205. I want to, defend my belt in Saturday, then, again in the 205. So we will see. First of all, I have to win against Israel.
Fair enough. Thanks, Jan. And Dana, just quickly for you, I mean, I know you still got 9 months left in the year, but a lot of people are saying card of the year already. Can you just talk about putting this card together and what made you decide we're going to do 3 title fights, we're going to blow this thing out of the water like this?
Yeah, no, it just lined up that way. All these fights came together at the same time, and the card is stacked. This is one of those cards that I'm excited about. My staff is excited about. The internet's excited about it. It's got some good buzz. It's a fun card. A lot of good talent.
Last thing for me, we've heard about Israel's visions and how quickly he's moved up in the sport. He talks about fighting in packed stadiums. I'm curious. You were talking about Florida, Texas has opened up this week. I mean, I'm curious if you started talking to Texas, number one, and number two, if he wins, do you feel Israel is the type of talent that could sell out a stadium here in the United States as well?
Yeah, I mean, if he keeps doing what he's doing and continues to win, continues to break records and do these things, yeah, like he said, it's inevitable. And yes, as soon as the governor of Texas said that, I called. Dallas said no, and I'm working on Houston. So see if we can get Houston done. I want to go to Texas ASAP. I'll go in the next 2-3 weeks. I'm ready to roll. So we'll be first. We'll open this thing up. We'll sell it out and be on our way.
Amanda over here. Obviously, you've at this point fought everyone there is to fight. So I'm curious, what does Megan bring to the table that you haven't seen before?
Every fight's completely different. So I feel like she have the reach advantage. She's tall. I feel like she's very dangerous. I feel like this is a huge thing in her game plan because she's tall and long. I feel like that can be a little difficult to figure it out. But in the first exchange, if I find my time, everything, I will finish it.
At this stage of your career, are those things like the height and the reach exciting things to try and challenge yourself with, to try and overcome?
Definitely. I like to challenge myself. That's why I pick MMA, my sport. Challenge myself all the time. This is the fight is going to challenge me and bring all the best of me.
And for Megan as well, obviously, Amanda's legacy in this sport is well known at this point, and we sort of talk about her challenges as, well, what can they do to really fight against her? What can they do to challenge her? What do you bring to the table that she hasn't seen before?
I feel like I'm the true first featherweight that she's fought that brings a lot of power. I know Felicia's a featherweight, but I think styles make fights. I have a lot of power that I bring to the table that I don't think she's seen in a very long time.
At some point, I can imagine when watching tape of Amanda, it would almost be overwhelming, but have you seen holes in her game that other women haven't been able to exploit?
I think everyone has holes in their game. I think you just have to find them, and we've looked at the tape and we've got a game plan, so we're ready to capitalize on those moments when we see them.
I think for you, your journey to a UFC title fight has been a long one that's been sort of met with loads of obstacles that aren't necessarily your own fault. So what exactly does it mean for you to be stepping into the octagon on Saturday night to actually finally fight for that UFC title?
Yeah, it's been a long road to get here, but I'm glad that I finally got here. I grew a lot as a person, as a martial artist, getting to this point. But yeah, I'm just ready to put on a show. Everyone's invincible until they're not.
Thank you.
Aljamain back here in the back. A lot's obviously been made with your credentials with the grappling compared to Piotr's striking. But as a grappler, what is your assessment of the champion's grappling skills?
I think Piotr has very good grappling. I just don't think it's to the level of mine with the level of competition that I drill with on a daily basis at Sarah BJJ. And some of the competition that he's faced, I've got to train with those guys as well. And I like to think that I'm one of the elite guys out there. And if I get his back, like those guys have got his back in the past, it's going to be a problem. And it's going to be a short night.
Piotr, a similar question. As someone with your striking background, what do you make of Aljamain's striking skills inside the octagon?
Как ты оцениваешь его ударные навыки?
У него неплохая ударка, но по сравнению с моей я смогу нокаутировать его.
You have a good striking, but comparing to mine, I'm sure I'm gonna knock him out.
Now, another question for Piotr. Aljamain has said to legitimize yourself as a champion, you have to get through him. He referred to himself as a young lion. Dominic Cruz says you just need to defend the title at least once to legitimize yourself. What do you make of these statements, and do you agree to become the champion, you do have to successfully defend your belt first?
Чтобы легитимизировать себя как в качестве чемпиона, доказать, что ты настоящий чемпион, он говорил, что ты должен победить его. Согласен ли ты с этим? И также Круз говорил о том, что чтобы стать настоящим чемпионом, ты должен защитить пояс.
Да, безусловно, я должен побить первого претендента, кто заслуживает драться за пояс.
Yes, of course. I need to beat number one contender to prove everyone.
And one for Dana. We've had a lot of very dominant bantamweight champions, but right now it seems like anyone in the top 5 could really contend for the title. Can you remember a time that the 135-pound division has been this competitive with these two men standing?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I love this fight. I feel like this fight is one of those fights where it's two guys in their prime, that's perfect time for them to meet each other. Both guys have looked incredible in their last few fights, and this is a perfect matchup at the perfect time.
And one final one. Glover Teixeira has insinuated that he might weigh in as a replacement. Is that true at all?
What was the question?
Is Glover going to weigh in as a replacement? He seemed to think that that might be a possibility a few weeks ago.
What's the question? Oh, yeah. Yes, he will.
Thank you.
Amanda, a couple of questions in português, sorry. Você já quebrou todos os recordes possíveis, né, na história do UFC, se você parar para pensar. A primeira mulher a conquistar 2 cinturões, primeira mulher a defender, entre homens e mulheres, né, os cinturões que você conquistou, fora ter vencido todas as 6 campeãs, né, da categoria peso galo e peso pena. Eu queria saber, você disse que agora é sobre momento, né? Como é que você vê o seu futuro e o que ainda falta conquistar?
É meu trabalho, né? Eu tenho que continuar defendendo meus cinturões, os 2. Eu acho que eu tenho que continuar trabalhando. Eu acho que essa luta vai só memórias mesmo. E agora, daqui para frente, ver como é que o que vai acontecer na categoria de baixo, para ver qual vai ser minha próxima oponente. E lutar, continuar lutando. E agora com Reagan, né? Quero que ela faça parte desses momentos comigo e continuar lutando. Acho que não tem mais o que realmente fazer. E sim, se a vida me mostrar algo, com certeza, eu vou agarrar com unhas e dentes.
Como é que foi aquele primeiro momento que você levou ela no octógono ontem? A gente viu você e a Nina e a sua filha, né? Você disse que queria fazer algumas fotos com ela. Como é que foi esse momento?
Foi mágico, assim. Eu nunca esperei, assim, nunca pensei, né, que eu ia passar por um momento desse em minha vida. Mas ontem foi mágico, assim, foi uma coisa surreal que eu desejo para todo mundo. Quem quiser ter uma filha, um filhinho, acho que é a melhor coisa que eu fiz na minha vida.
I asked her first, like, what did she feels yesterday when she brought her kid to the octagon? You know, she wanted to make some memories. She said, and she said that was magic. It was the first time that she could actually be inside and take those pictures. That is something that she wants to do, and that's her moment right now. And the first question was, like, after all the records that she already broke in the UFC, what does she see in the future? And she said that she's looking into the division, the 135-pound division as well, to see what's going on. And then she wants to see if it's possible to defend the title. I just have one more question to Israel. You trained with André Galvão, and I want to know, like, how much did you improve your game since you started training?
Yeah, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time. I think in the jiu-jitsu world they call it sandbagging because I haven't really been in the gi as often as I should. So when I went to Atos, being stuck in the United States towards the end of last year, my game stepped up in that 5 weeks. You have to. Like I mean, someone in my position normally or wouldn't really go to a public open school like that and then just openly get ragdolled by everyone. But then I figured like it was like, oh, I sucked less at jiu-jitsu every day, and then by the second week, I was getting props on how my game in nogi and gi was elevating. And yeah, there's some stuffs on the mat that stays on the mat. So yeah, just I'm getting there. I'm not where I need to be. Same with striking. I'm not where I need to be, but every day I'm getting better.
And just for Peter Yan, if you could talk about doing his camp at American Top Team, how much that helped evolve your game as well.
Насколько лагерь в American Top Team помог тебе стать лучше?
Все было отлично. Каждый лагерь для меня что-то новое. Я стараюсь приобрести что-то новое. Я продемонстрирую это в субботу в бою.
Everything went great. You know, every camp I'm learning something new, and I will try to show it in my fight.
I hope they teach you how to catch a mouse.
Говорит, надеется, что тебя научили, как ловить мышку.
Я мышей ловлю всю жизнь.
I'm catching the mouse my whole life.
Mouse don't strangle people, though.
Ты одна из них, которая будешь поймана.
And you're one of them.
First one for Israel down here to your left. There's only been 5 double champions that have held the title at the same time, and one of them is a few feet away from you. Have you taken any inspiration, any motivation from some of the ones who've come before? For Israel?
My bad. What was that?
There's only been 5 double champions in UFC history as far as holding the title at the same time. One of them is just a few feet away from you. Have you taken any inspiration, motivation from any of the ones who came from before you?
Have I? I guess so, yeah. It's a very elite, exclusive club, and I'm going to be the 5th one to join that club.
And then just for Aljamain, you got announced from New York at this press conference. Obviously, you're a Long Island guy, but you did your camp this time at Extreme Couture. Why the change, and what are some of the things you've added to your game at Extreme Couture?
I came out here for a couple of reasons. I'm still with my team, Cerro Longo, first and foremost, so I started my training camp back home in Long Island the first time, and then the fight got canceled for whatever undisclosed reasons. And then now we're here, started my training camp back home again. Got in shape with the UFC PI. They've been nothing but great to me, Bo and the whole team, Heather, Tara, those whole crew. And I don't take care of my body as well as I should, like a professional athlete. So coming here, it gives me the opportunity to utilize everything that Dana and the UFC gives us, So very fortunate to have that. And there's no real change other than the financial benefits that you get for living in Nevada.
Got it. And then just for Dana, a couple. Good to see you. You mentioned Texas, that it's open now, and you said maybe even 2 or 3 weeks from now you go to Texas. UFC 260 is in 3 weeks. There's no chance that would actually be in Texas. Could there be?
Could be.
Really?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm ready to go.
And maybe
I'd move this one if we could. I'm ready to, listen,
we still got a couple days.
I told everybody when this opened up that I would be first and we would go first, and we will.
So maybe next month as well, 261. There's no location for that yet.
Maybe. Yeah.
You recall they've moved the show before on like a 3 days notice. Yeah.
That's true.
From Vegas to LA, so yeah.
That is true.
I wonder why.
Yeah, if we could do it, we'd do it.
You mentioned the top. Muhammad and Edwards are not here today. The fight is okay, though. The fight is not.
The fight's on. Both those guys have had COVID. But for COVID protocol, we had to shut them down today.
And I just wanted to ask you also about Hamza Shimayev. He posted that thing on Instagram a few days ago. Have you spoken to him lately? Any updates on his condition?
No. Listen, the reason we all love, the kid and how he got 1 million followers in a couple of weeks on social media is that's the type of fighter that fight fans like, that they like to watch, that they like to follow. He wants to fight every weekend. The guy has some effects from having COVID. So he's on very heavy medication. He's supposed to be resting and relaxing. He's not. He's training like an animal. And, what happened to him is what's going to happen if you don't listen to the doctors. So, he needs to take time off. He needs to relax. He needs to heal. And then he can come back and fight. I don't know what he's going to do. We flew him out here to get him looked at he's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants. We're trying to help him every way that we can, but he needs to chill out is what he needs to do.
And then just last one, I think people were surprised yesterday when they saw reports that Giulio dos Santos and Alistair Wolverine are no longer with the UFC. Any comment on those two guys and their releases?
Oh, we love those guys. I mean, I was saying this morning, Alistair Wolverine's never turned down a fight, and Giulio dos Santos is one of the nicest guys in the world. It happens every week here.
First question for Israel over here on your right. Right over here. Israel, you've talked about in the past your big walkouts there for the occasion. The big sold-out stadium in Australia, that had a big walkout. No fans, a little more subdued. You're going for champ status. Should we expect a big walkout this Saturday?
It's not really just for the big show. That moment at 243 was for that moment. And I feel like, for me, it's unexpected. So it was because that was unexpected. That's why I had such a big impact. So now you all are expecting it like a bunch of junkies. So, yeah, no. I'm just doing what I do. Yeah, just walk out to knockouts.
Question for Megan. There's obviously a lot of talk about the future of the featherweight division after this one. Is it safe to say, all that aside, you're in this fight just to look out for you and have the best performance for yourself, not necessarily what else might be going on?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to not think about that, obviously, but at the end of the day, I can't control what's done with the division. All I can control is me and putting on great performances. Dana and the UFC are going to do what they want to do. My job is to turn up, show up, knock out, win. Again, that's all I can focus on, and if I focus on anything else, then I take away from my sole priority, and that's winning.
How does it feel to finally be a Twitch partner?
It's actually a really big deal. Only like 1.3% of people that stream on Twitch are partnered, it's actually a really big deal. So it's something I've been working on for a bit over a year now. So it's kind of cool to finally reach that achievement.
Congratulations. Real quick for Dana and Amanda, just on that note, just the future of the featherweight division after this one. We know we got our second one booked, Felicia Spencer and Danielle Wolf, but just where the status either signing more featherweights, and then for Amanda, defending it possibly past Megan.
I'll let her go first.
I will pass Megan for sure. And I'm a champion. I'm gonna keep this belt forever. Then whatever he wanna do with the division, if he, after this fight, he finds somebody else, I'm gonna be here to defend my belt.
There's the answer to the questions.
Thank you.
Megan back here. We were just talking about moving events a little bit, and you've been a part of that with UFC 232, of course. Just some craziness getting here to the title fight. Is a little bit par for the course that we're doing it in an empty building with no fans for you?
I don't really think about it, to be honest. Whether it's in front of 60,000 people or zero, I don't really care. I'm here to do a job. Obviously, fans make it a little bit more exciting, but at the end of the day, you got to block out all of that noise and put on a performance.
And for Dana, with Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards, is it possible if Bilal goes in and pulls this off that he could be next in line for a title shot?
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible in that division right now, so we'll see how it turns out.
Hello, guys.
Go
Igor
ahead.
Lazarin from news agency TASS, Russia. I will ask Peter in Russian. Перескажи, пожалуйста, какие отношения у вас со Стерлингом, конфликт между вами или это просто перепалка словесная для того, чтобы разогреть бой, скажем так?
What kind of relationship you have with Sterling? Do you have a conflict, or you wanna promote the fight?
У меня нет к нему никакого конфликта. Просто хочется побить эту голову кучерявую и все.
I don't have any conflict with him. I just wanna beat his curly head.
And one question for Dana. Habib told me that he planned to meet with you here. What is the situation with lightweight title now? How long he'll holder of the title? Do you have any plan about it?
Yeah, we're gonna have dinner on Saturday or Sunday, and then just talk and see. I think that a lot of these fights have to play out in that division. You know, from 9 all the way up to number 1. I mean, they're incredible fights. You can mix or match them any way you want, and they're really good fights. And let some of these play out to see who will fight next for the title. And I think that if Khabib is interested, you know, he'll take the fight. You don't hear Khabib saying, "Leave me alone, stop asking me." So there's still a chance. That's the way I look at it.
So, but door's still open for him, right?
What was the question?
Door's still open for him.
I think so, yeah. I think it is.
Thank you.
Yep.
Real quick for Israel and Megan, back here. There were a couple earthquakes in the New Zealand, Australia area this morning. Is everyone cool on your side over there?
Yeah, on my side, sick shirt, by the way, sick shirt. But yeah, on my side, everyone's cool. I heard about it this morning when I couldn't sleep. But yeah, I think they've got a tsunami warning as well, but yeah, they should be all good. So yeah, we hold it down. We're strong nations.
I haven't really heard much about it. I was sleeping, sorry. Yeah, I haven't really heard much about it. That's actually the first time I've heard about it, also sick shirt again. But yeah, like Izzy said, restaurant countries, we handle shit.
Got any more? Go ahead. Well, this will be the last question right here.
На русском вопрос Петру Яну. Петр, здравствуйте. Вопрос такой. Мираб Двалишвили рассказала, что вы пару дней назад пересекались с Алджамейном в зале в перформанс-институт. Как прошла эта встреча, что вы сказали Алджамейну, что он вам сказал?
So Mirab Dvalishvili told a reporter that you met Aljamain in Performance Institute a couple of days ago. How did this meeting went?
Ну, я его не замечаю. Вообще, посмотрите на него. Он сейчас тоже, в принципе, сидит, как будто его и нет здесь. Он также и в зале был. Я его даже не понял, он это или не он.
To be honest, I'm not really noticing him, even like here, you know. It's like he's here or not, you know, he doesn't seem visible to me.
And question for
we made eye contact. That was pretty much it. We acknowledged each other, and that's as far as it goes.
Okay.
You have another question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
For you, for Dana White.
Yeah.
Would you potentially be interested in a fighter like Alexander Shlemenko? He is ex-Bellator champion.
Would I be interested in what?
Would you potentially be interested in a Russian fighter Alexander Shlemenko? He is ex-Bellator champion.
Okay. Where does he fight now?
He's in a fight night only for one fight.
I don't know. Listen, I'm interested in anybody who has the potential to be the best in the world. So if he's one of those guys, then I'm interested.
Because he's very popular in Russia.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about him, but if he has the potential to be here, I'm interested.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll get this stuff out of here and we'll square these guys off. Thanks for coming today, you guys.
Saturday. We'll see. Can't. You only talk. Only talk? Yes. You think so? Why do you think so? I broke it. You think so? Yes. How? You can't hit what you can't see. Everywhere. You can't hit what you can't see. Everywhere. You can't hit what you can't see. All right, good man. I'll see you. It's gonna be a good fight.
Take your belt. Hold on. Aljamain, just face forward real quick. You got it. Thank you, gentlemen. Next. Fucking awesome. Face forward, please. Awesome. Thank you, ladies.
Me too. Good morning. You hold that.
Give it to him anyway. Hold on. Wait a second, guys.
I got nothing to do this.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, Shimon.